Hello, hello, hello. First of all, we're not going to wait for people to join the room today. We're just going to go ahead and get started. Hello, hello. Thanks so much for joining. My name is LaShondra Vernon, and I am the CEO and founder of Prime Solutions. And I am here to do a quick introduction to a workshop called Trust Builders Workshop. It is one of my babies, one of my pride and joy workshops, and I am here to share it both to encourage you to consider getting a group together and doing a Trust Builders Workshop, but also to recommend the Trust Builders Workshop in your workplace, in organizations that you belong to as a member, and as just a person who wants to improve the trust building practices that you don't see being best practiced in the world. Again, I am the author of this program, but I am a mediator by trade. It is my academic background, and it is something that is very special to me personally, and something I would like to see people be stronger at practicing both in life, but in their workplace and in their relationships. So, of course, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Um, we're going to start this conversation about cultivating authentic trust. The world is full of so many challenges, especially today. And so now's a great time for us to navigate a world where there's more harmony and synergistic communities. So, what are the foundations of the Trust Builders Workshop? Well, of course, the foundations start with the fundamentals of identifying the underpinning issues that create challenges with trust. We'll explore the fundamental elements of those underpinning issues, and they show up in your personal, in your professional, and in your family settings. But the psychological impact of trust building is a really important foundation of this. It gets into several factors, including where you fall in the line of family members. If you are the oldest, the youngest, the middle child, so many layers impact how you show up in the space and world of trust. And so, what are some of the highlights of the workshop? What are some of the things that you will learn? So, of course, effective communication is key. Um, that is relative to who you are talking to. So, learning how to read the room and build the right trust language around what will be effective in the places that you are engaging. Trust in teams. You don't have to have all of the people that you engage with in trust building babysit your children or watch your dog, but it's a great way for you to learn how to engage with teams by having open dialogue in those teams and identify better ways to communicate, facilitate, and gain relationship trust. And as I alluded a little earlier, family structures are a really key part of this. Understanding where you fall in the family. I, as an oldest child, have different challenges and different things that I have to navigate than, say, a youngest child. And so understanding that is underneath and lies within in all of your teams and how you can navigate those challenges. And one of the most difficult parts of trust builders work is always personal accountability, the ability to not have to be humbled by the environment that you're in, but to humbly seek the ways in which you could have engaged differently. So moving forward, you do not have to have the same outcomes. So, why should you choose trust builders? Well, of course, because it's an opportunity to gain some FaceTime with me, your girl, but there are lots of reasons to consider this practice. Um, so it's the practice of accountability. Gaining the skills of not wasting time with your ego are valuable to everyone. getting right back to how can I change how I show up to improve my environment. Expert facilitation. Sometimes an outsider really helps you by being neutral in some of the challenges that you face. I am not looking to replace anyone at your organization, whether you're a member or an employee. And so coming in as a neutral facilitator is definitely a great way for you to navigate some of those conflicts without having to feel like people that are helping you with this are biased. It's interactive learning. There are lots of case studies that are applied, and I often redraft those case studies based on what you may have shared with me that's going on in the environment of your workplace or your teams. And so those prove to be really useful to help you put yourself in someone else's shoes and navigate your way through these challenges. And then the diversity of context. So sometimes you are in a space where everyone is of a hive mind and you're all thinking the same way. Bringing in a second or third party to those discussions and conversations diversify the way that you address and see some of these challenges that you face. It's a great opportunity for you to think outside of the box. And so it's an opportunity for you to get together with me and the number of team members that I bring to the table to help facilitate some of these challenges. So, if you're interested in getting involved and having one of these, this is an opportunity for you to look into our services and take a time to look into ways that they can support you. I would love to join you, your teams, your partners, your organizations, and support you in identifying ways that you can be more effective, be less tumultuous, and operate in harmony. And another option is becoming a member. One of the things that I've added to the menu is opportunities for both solopreneurs, organizations, and people to just simply come into the fold as a member. You can do a membership for just one person. You can do a membership that supports an organization. I've also created a 7 session conflict transformation coaching program. And this program is designed based off of some work that I did with Milwaukee County's Department of Health and Human Services. After coaching some of their team members on their leadership journey, I decided to keep that program going and available to you. And so if you are interested, go ahead and activate this QR code and become a member of Prime Solutions. Well, this has been quick and this has been to the point. Now I am available to answer any questions. I see two of my favorite human beings in the chat. Shout out to Joy Bex and Lawrence Andrew, some of my favorite and most constant supporters and friends. If there are any questions that you have that you would like to ask, I will hang out a little bit longer, throw the lovely lo-fi music back on, and I will respond to any questions that are added to the chat. And also note to the ground rule, we would like to have respectful engagement. I do not want to remove the chat, but I would love to keep it going. Hi, Sister Jeanette. And I will shoot back to the QR code. If you're watching and you don't have any questions and you'd just like to book the services. Hi, Tanda. I love this. Some of my favorites have jumped in right away. Again, you all know where to find me. How do you feel about this format, friends? Do you like this format for going live? Also, want to drop a little nugget. We are going to be bringing the podcast back, and this is the format that we will be doing it in. And as we bring the podcast back, I would really appreciate recommendations from folks. Hi, hi, Latoya. Yes. So I will say I can bounce back. This is really just an introduction. Um, this workshop, and some of you, my sorority sisters of Epsilon Kappa Omega, I have done this workshop with them before. So thank you so much for showing up. These videos will stay up on all my platforms. So if there's anything you want to share about being at the Trust Builders Workshop that was designed for us at the chapter, I would love any kudos that I can continue to bring people back to. Um, but yes, Latoya, I am happy to connect. If you know of any groups, any orgs that you're working with, any other membership organizations that a Trust Builders Workshop would be useful for. There are a couple other workshops that I'm going to pop on and do this for that I have. I will give a heads up. There's one that I'm going to be doing on cultural agility, which I'm really excited for. I'm taking my time with this one because we do a lot around cultural competency in the social work sector, in the social services sector. But I think we are at a point that requires more than just competency. It requires our ability to be agile across different cultures. That workshop I will do an intro to as well in this same format once it's ready. But I'm still working on it. It is another one that's really close to my heart that I want to get right. Um, the other is one around political engagement and how people can engage in potentially either running for office or supporting political campaigns effectively and knowing their boundaries if they are potentially a nonprofit, and knowing the rules of lobbying. So those are two more that I'm working on, but I really want to get people engaged in trust builders first, because relationships move at the speed of trust. And so that is a really important factor of the way that I want to engage the community. Thank you, Sister Jeanette, for endorsing the workshop. It is very special to me, and I was really happy to provide it to my dear sisters. Tanda, thank you so much. I have had this tool. I think that when we did a podcast interview, I used it when I interviewed you, and podcasting has just become a little challenging for me to do continuously because it's hard for me to stick to one theme. I get excited about something and I want to just talk about it. Um, but yay, I'm glad you like it. All right. So I had this scheduled for no more than 30 minutes. The goal is for the intros to be 15 to 30 minutes long and to take questions from folks that join that might be interested. For those of you that might happen upon this video on one of my platforms after this recording is finished, I would love to engage with you. You can use any of these QR codes, or you can shoot me a message on whichever social media platform you're viewing this on, and I'm happy to schedule a time to sit down and talk. Thank you, Tada. Also, thank you, Lawrence Andrew. I see you say you're saying that you do like this format. I love it. I haven't used this tool to its maximum capacity yet. And so the podcast will be returning using this tool. Lawrence Andrew, I believe I interviewed you for something for this as well. So I'm really happy to be bringing it back. One more thing I want to pop up before I jump off, and I'm going to throw that QR code down here at the bottom. Um, the Trust Builders Workshop goes really well with my Conflict Transformation Journal. If you do not have a copy of the Conflict Transformation Journal, it is available to you right now. You can buy it on Amazon. I do have copies as well. If you're in town and you would like to get a copy and don't want to shop with Amazon, I am happy to provide the resource without you, slipping out of your boycott strategy. I am not fully bought into the Amazon boycott personally, but I am happy to accommodate as an entrepreneur who wants to make sure I get your business. But I would love for you to grab the Conflict Transformation Journal. It's not an easy project to work on. Like, working through this journal is difficult, but it's supposed to be difficult. Um, it is self reflection. It is in your moments when you have a challenge and you go back to the journal. That's one of my favorite things to do when I was successful in not wasting time sulking in a conflict and making the decision to be in the impasse or dig my heels in. I love to go to the journal and write down what I did differently from the last time that I did not move with intention. Um, so it's a great tool. It's something that I wrote in a transformational period of my life during a transition. And I think it just continues to be useful to work through that. So as I'm seeing the numbers dwindle down of who is attending right now live, I cannot thank you enough for joining me. One more thing, I'm going to pop back on the screen before I go, just for the necessary advertisement reasons. If you would like to support this stream, this is an option for you to make a donation. This donation will allow me to support those who I add as guests. I would love to make a love offering to anyone that joins any of my podcast or streaming platform engagement. But I would really love to continue to engage just in general for the purposes of being intentional about using my social media platform. I recently was monetized, and so I want to be very intentional about its use. Again, any support that you provide is welcomed, but not mandatory. Just something that we would definitely appreciate in support of the guests that we plan to have. Also, feel free to recommend a guest. I am happy to reach out to someone that you would like to learn more about to do an interview. And so I will pause here to say one more thank you. Again, we're coming up on the 20-minute mark. I really appreciate those of you that hopped in. Looking forward to meeting some of you that come across this video after it was live. And as always, please continue to do all you can to bring us back to one. Have a great day.